Shalom, shalom, beloveds. How's everybody doing? I want to wish everybody a blissful AM, PM, evening, you know what I'm saying, whenever you are able to watch this, right? I hope your weekend and your week, most definitely, you know what I'm saying, is going favorable, you know what I'm saying. May the favor of the Most High, you know what I'm saying, be spread over your life, you know what I'm saying. May His protection and provision, you know what I'm saying, be unto you and your children, your family, your friends' families, your family's friends, you know what I'm saying, and so forth. May the angels be loosed over you, you know what I'm saying, as a hedge of protection, and may His holy fire be cast over you, you know what I'm saying, as a fortification, a protection against all wicked spirits, demonic practices, high altars, you know what I'm saying, witchcraft, sorcery, you know what I'm saying, demonic agendas or assignments, you know what I'm saying. We decree and declare those to be null and void, you know what I'm saying. We decree and declare the victory over, you know what I'm saying, demonic assignments and presences that are in your lives, you know what I'm saying, as we are null and void those contracts and we render them powerless, you know what I'm saying. And that the Most High keep you, you know what I'm saying, in the shadow of His wing, you know what I'm saying, and have provision and provocation over you, you know what I'm saying, and supplication over y'all as well, you know what I'm saying, and may His anointing, you know what I'm saying, reign heavy through y'all and over y'all, you know what I'm saying. And so may y'all divinely be protected, you know what I'm talking about. And you know what I'm saying, just enjoy y'all day and know that you are blessed, you know what I'm saying. So I want to talk about altars, right? So I was kind of looking at some stuff, and even I had did, like, you know what I'm saying, a Bible study with one of my fellow, you know what I'm saying, teachers, and they were teaching on some things, Salakia, and was talking about, I guess we kind of started talking about, like, altars, you know what I'm saying, sorcery and stuff like that, right? So you know that the one last video that I did was of sorcery, you know what I'm saying. Of course, there's one that was speaking about, you know what I'm saying, the cause of the fallen, which were like dealing with the fallen angels, which, you know what I'm saying, Facebook kept interrupting the, you know what I'm saying, broadcast, right? So I kind of sat back a little bit and allowed them time to, you know what I'm saying, try to do what they do. So it was like a 2-part video, you know what I'm saying, which should have just been one whole video. But because they kept messing with both of my phones and everything like that, you know what I'm saying, well, the video that I was showing and then also, you know what I'm saying, the phones was a little bit of complications, okay? But aside from that, what I'm speaking on is that the secrecy, sorcery, and sin video, right? This kind of falls into that, okay? Now, it won't be too many, well, we'll just get into it, you know what I'm saying, so I can make it kind of short and sweet, right? Depending on how long it goes, you know what I'm saying, I don't think it's going to go super long. This one won't take very long, you know what I'm talking about. Now, it might be close to an hour or whatever, but we'll see how that goes, because every time I say it's a short video, it ends up being a long video. All right, so I want to talk about altars, right? The reason why a lot of people end up being attacked, you know what I'm talking about, unbeknownst, is because they entertain certain altars that they did not know that they're entertaining, right? So if they don't really realize that they're entertaining certain altars, you know what I'm saying, how are you able to decipher, you know what I'm saying, if you are dabbling into witchcraft, you know what I'm saying, or how are you able to know if you are willingly giving, you know what I'm saying, legal rights unto the enemy into your life, right? So one thing I wanted to speak on is altars, right? Let's give a definition for altars so we can know as we go further into this message, okay? So demonic altars refers to a place often constructed in secrecy, okay, where individuals practice dark rituals or worship demonic entities, usually involving symbolic objects and offerings. And while the exact locations of such are not publicly known, they are often believed to exist in remote areas, abandoned buildings, or even within private residences. with some individuals claiming that certain historical sites or areas with dark pasts may be considered potential locations for demonic altars. It's also important to note the concept of demonic altars is similarly based on religious belief and folklore, with no concrete evidence of their existence in the real world. Okay, so this is, what AI's definition is, to try to kind of, as we know, towards the end, right? So there's some things that I want to show you, right? So ritualistic practices, ritualistic practices are performed at these altars can include invocations, sacrifices, often symbolic, bloodletting, and practices believed to summon or appease demonic entities. Okay? So with ritualistic practices, okay, as you are appeasing demonic entities, there are many different spirits that people do not know that they appease, right? And that they invoke, okay? So let me give you a few, okay? So, well, first and foremost, let's hit a little bit with some scripture, okay? To back this up. So we're going to go to Salakia. We're going to go to Exodus 20 and 24. So Exodus 20 and 24. Let's see here. Well, let me see here. Before we go there, let's go to 1 Corinthians before we go there. Let's go to 1 Corinthians. Okay. So let's go to 1 Corinthians 9. And 13. 9 and 13. And it says, do you not know that they which minister about holy things live of the things of the temple, and they which wait at the altar are partakers with the altar? Okay? So, I'm going to read that one more time. Do you not know that they which minister about holy things live in the things of the temple, and they which wait at the altar are partakers with the altar? This is basically a signification of coming into agreement with something, right? Okay, so you see I named this witch altar, like a witchcraft, and then witch, like which one. Okay, so look, now let's go to Exodus 20 and 24. We'll start at 23. You know what I'm saying? It says, you shall not make with me gods of silver, neither shall ye make unto your gods of gold. An altar of earth thou shalt make unto me, okay, which shall sacrifice thereon thy burden, Salakia, thy burnt offerings, and thy peace offerings, thy sheep and thine oxen, in thine places, while I record my name, I will come unto thee, and I will bless thee. Okay? So this is signifying that an altar being made, unto the Most High, right? Now, 25, right after this, says, and if thou make me an altar of stone, thou shalt not build of it hewn stone, which means you should not craft it. It should just be natural stone, right? Because it says that if thou lift up thy tool upon it, thou hast polluted it. So it's not a natural altar, is what it's signifying. But this is also signifying something even deeper, because it's showing, and I'll go into it really quick. All right, so this is also showing, that that there is no, altering, basically, of the design of it, or altering, of its naturalness. Okay, so it wants it to be pure. This is why it says of the earth, for what it created. It doesn't need anything that has been added onto, you know what I'm saying, or taken away from. Just like how his word is. Now, whenever he made his word, you know what I'm saying, to live in the flesh, right? So just depend on that, and we'll end up going back. Now, as 1 Corinthians 9 and 13 had already spoke on, you know what I'm saying, that altars, those who are in agreement with the altars, right? So now let me teach you, let me show you. Some of the altars, as we see, that through ritualistic practices are performed, see here, can include invocations, sacrifices, blood letting, you know what I'm saying, and other practices like summoning or appeasing demonic entities. Okay, so when we say that, this also shows, you know what I'm saying, when we say that, this also shows and signifies that why he was saying that he did not want any altars he did not want any stones, you know what I'm saying, hewn stones, right? So we see some of these cathedrals, these churches, you know what I'm saying, places that have, you know what I'm saying, carved, graven images, you know what I'm talking about, inside of these poles or pillars or up above, you know what I'm saying, the head mantle or whatever, you know what I'm saying, which have certain demonic symbolisms and stuff like that, which we've already spoke about in Secrecy, Sorcery, and Sin, right? So this is another thing of that. Now, one thing that people tend to forget is that altars can end up being, you know what I'm saying, a place where you least expect it. Okay? So altars can end up being, you know what I'm saying, where did I put it at? I wrote it down here, which stood out to me. Altars could consist of clubs, right? Altars consist of music stages, you know what I'm saying, performance stages, beds, you know what I'm talking about, trap houses and phones, you know what I'm saying, or houses that is done like wicked acts, you know what I'm saying, thereof. Okay, so let me explain how these are possible. Is if we know that let me see here, of bloodletting, you know what I'm saying, and let me see here, summoning and to appease demonic entities. So if we know that the bed can be one, if we know that there's a spirit, you know what I'm saying, that's an incubus and succubus spirit, you know what I'm saying, there's also the spirit of lust, right? And so with these spirits, you know what I'm saying, this would mean that one is appeasing these demonic entities. So on the bed, whenever people tend to do sex magic, you know what I'm saying, ritual practices and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying, then this is one of those things, you know what I'm saying, that ends up becoming an altar. The same way that your phone can become an altar. If you watch porno, you know what I'm saying, and you're coming into agreement with these entities, you know what I'm saying, via masturbation or whatever, you know what I'm saying, you are appeasing these demonic entities. Because we know that porn is made for those to be able to fall in line and also open themselves up, you know what I'm talking about, to the spirit realm, you know what I'm talking about, via sex magic. Okay, so entities can be able to come into, you know what I'm saying, said person or whatever. This is another reason why so many relationships nowadays are failing, you know what I'm saying, is because so many people have the deviancy of demonic residue, you know what I'm saying, upon them. So whenever they get into relationships, you know what I'm saying, it's hard for them to really desire the person that they're with, is because they are too busy, you know what I'm saying, chasing after the ideology or the lust, you know what I'm saying, the lustful desires and stuff like this of those things that they have once seen, that they have been introduced to. And so that demon, whenever you entertain demonic entities, you know what I'm saying, they always continue to want more. So it's just like, I guess you can consider it kind of like a narcissistic spirit, you know what I'm saying, Jezebelic spirit. They always want more, you know what I'm saying. This is why they also have other supplies or whatever, you know what I'm saying, is because once once they've gotten what they need from you, then they require more. You know what I'm saying? They're never satisfied. They're never fulfilled. You know what I'm saying? But this is a part of that. So this is why I say that, you know what I'm saying, whenever we entertain demonic entities, you know what I'm saying, then they're always wanting more. Thus, you can have a woman that you're in a relationship with, or that you adore, or whatever, or you can have a man that you're in a relationship and that you adore, you know what I'm talking about. And so as you are in a relationship or pursuing, courting these people or whatever, you know what I'm saying, then you also continue to look further, you know what I'm saying, aside from what's right in front of your face, is because you're always wanting to be fed more. Now, some of these things are not a natural thing, you know what I'm saying. Society will teach you that it is a natural thing, you know what I'm saying, but it's not, right? The Most High had made, you know what I'm saying, man for woman, you know what I'm saying, one man for one woman, right? The only thing is that people will try to say that of being promiscuous and saying that polyamory, you know what I'm saying, is a thing that has been awarded and granted for the desires of men, right? And the reason they say this, you know what I'm saying, is for them to fulfill their own, you know what I'm saying, grandiose desire, okay? Now, they'll say that it's law and it's supposed to happen. If that's the case, you know what I'm saying, why are there more women than there's men and stuff like this, is because men have a shorter lifespan than women do, right? And we know this. We as men, you know what I'm saying, put our lives on the line, you know, some on the front line for a lot of things, you know what I'm saying. It's predominant. I'm not saying that, you know what I'm saying, women don't do the same, but what I'm saying though is that men do a lot of different things. We work more, you know what I'm saying, demanding jobs that require us, you know what I'm saying, to be in dangerous things. You see us working dangerous jobs, skyscraping, you know what I'm saying, telephone poles and stuff like this. We fight in the service and everything like this, you know what I'm saying. We go to war to be able to protect, you know what I'm saying, the home front, you know what I'm saying. And so as we put our lives on the line for, you know what I'm saying, our women and our children and stuff like this, and even just being honest, you know what I'm saying, there's times that we do, you know what I'm saying, we just do a lot of dumb stuff at times as well, you know what I'm saying, as you know, as we dabble into the street life, because we have been introduced to it. So, you know what I'm saying, there's a lot of us killing each other off of that type of thing, you know what I'm saying. There's a lot of us that go into depression and stuff like that if we lose family or friends, or if we lose hope in ourselves and stuff like that. So we end up losing our lives from drug use, drug abuse and everything like this, you know what I'm saying, alcoholism and all these different type of addictions, as well as suicide. The suicide rate with men versus women is a lot more higher in men, okay. So this is one of those things. Now back then, it's because the men were going to war. So because the men were going to war, you know what I'm saying, to defend, you know what I'm saying, their nations and the women and children and stuff like this, then there was a loss of, you know what I'm saying, those husbands and stuff like that, those providers that were needed in the household. And so this is why there were scriptures that were that the Most High was saying, basically, you know what I'm saying, for that type of thing, in order for, you know what I'm saying, the wife to be covered and to have provision. But now in these days and times, those things really don't apply too much, you know what I'm saying, because there are men that are doing it for selfish desire. These men can end up being abusive, you know what I'm saying, or they even a lot of polyamory relationships don't really last very long, you know what I'm saying. Some people do it for pleasure, you know what I'm talking about. There are people that are doing it for pleasure and stuff like that, is because they choose to pick on those who are not spiritually strong enough, you know what I'm saying. They pick on those, and this is no disrespect, you know what I'm saying, but I say this respectfully, they pick on those who are weak-minded, you know what I'm saying, those who come into agreement. So what weak-minded is that, okay, well, I know that I do not have a worth of my own self, you know what I'm saying, fully. So therefore, I will come into agreement with being able to just be okay with this. So therefore, okay, well, you know what I'm saying, there are some women that are like, well, I got kids and stuff like this, and not too many men take me serious. But if there's a dude that's coming as far as being, you know what I'm saying, polyamorous, you know what I'm talking about, then I can at least have my bills paid, my kids provided for, and everything like this. So therefore, this is one of those things that I could just fall in line with it, and I'm willing to, you know what I'm saying, share my position or whatever, you know what I'm saying. And so there some of them will look at it as, okay, well, this is me being strong, but it's also a denouncing of your worth, you know what I'm saying, because it's saying that I don't believe that there is anybody for me, right? instead of just waiting and being able to, you know what I'm saying, be in the coverage of the Most High, and then see that there's somebody for you, most definitely, but you have to be equally yoked. And some people don't want to do the work, right? But this is a conversation, you know what I'm saying, for a different time or whatever. You know what I'm talking about? This will be a whole nother different conversation. I'm not trying to go too deep into that, but just giving a little bit of synopsis on it, okay, in definition, right? So when people tend to deal and dabble, you know what I'm saying, within their own sexual deviancy, you know what I'm saying, uncontrollable, you know what I'm saying, diverse lust and stuff like this, they're opening themselves up in order for them to be able to, you know what I'm saying, appease demonic entities, right? And so this is why, you know what I'm saying, with you know what I'm saying, watching porn and stuff like this, or doing sexual magic, you're always wanting more. You know what I'm saying? Okay, that was good, but now let's go ahead and see if we can bring a partner in, or let's try to do all these extra different tricks and stuff like this, you know what I'm saying, which is really not that much needed, you know what I'm saying? Now, some people have certain interests and stuff like this that they like to dabble into and stuff like that, and they don't know that this is where that comes from. You know what I'm saying? Because the whole thing of intercourse is just a man enjoying a woman and a woman enjoying a man. They're having a sacred bond of intimacy, you know what I'm saying, a deep level connection, as they are sharing, you know what I'm saying, their temples with one another, you know what I'm talking about, in order to reproduce, and also in order for them, you know what I'm saying, to come into agreement in a covenant. What they don't know is that the original covenant, the original marriage from man and woman, you know what I'm saying, was you know what I'm saying, sacred energy exchange, you know what I'm saying, which is sharing sexual energy. Okay? And so the kingdom of darkness tends to use a lot of that type of stuff in order for people to be able to be bound and bonded to each other, you know what I'm saying? And so whenever the kingdom of darkness allowed, or has basically came into the jurisdiction where people have allowed, you know what I'm saying, themselves to be subjugated to, you know what I'm saying, the practices of the kingdom of darkness, you know what I'm saying, then they are not only coming into covenant, but they're also coming into agreement with something that they should not. So that's another reason why people tend to have soul ties, you know what I'm saying, soul connections with people. They have soul ties, you know what I'm saying, they are bonding with people unbeknownst. They're also married to people. You're creating more spiritual marriages, you know what I'm saying. Now, aside from, well, let me say it like this. So, yeah, aside from it being a physical thing, this is also how it is within the spiritual thing. Whenever you have dreams of you having intercourse, you know what I'm saying, with people and stuff like this, you know what I'm saying, you are opening yourself up spiritually for you to create, you know what I'm saying, a soul connection. And this is what, Salaki, this is what demonic entities like to try to do in order to get you to come into agreement, you know what I'm saying, with something that is or making a covenant, which now creates a stronghold, you know what I'm saying, access, exclusivity, you know what I'm saying, into your life. So this is why, you know what I'm saying, there'll be a lot of things that come against you, you know what I'm saying, there'll be things that come against you that oppose you, or things, you know what I'm saying, that you'll try to step into, and you know what I'm saying, they won't work out that way. It's because there is a pull, you know what I'm saying, that is connected up on you. There's a stronghold. So everything that comes within that covenant, you know what I'm saying, is basically blocking off anything else, you know what I'm saying, that you're trying to go towards. So this is why you end up having, you know what I'm talking about, certain problems, or having problematic, you know what I'm saying, discrepancies, you know what I'm saying, with trying to move forward with certain things, relationships, or trying to, you know what I'm saying, move forward in life, you know what I'm talking about, within certain successes, or, you know, trying to evolve and stuff like that, while certain things hold you stagnant, because some of those things are still, you're still under covenant, you know what I'm saying, under a spiritual contract, because you were bound to something. Okay, so this is what porn does. This is why the phone and the bed and all this type of stuff can end up becoming an altar, because you are appeasing, you know what I'm saying, demonic entities, you know what I'm saying, unbeknownst. Okay, now, the reason that I said that that clubs, you know what I'm saying, and become altars. Even gangs can become altars, you know what I'm saying, because there are spots where like they meet at you know what I'm saying, trap houses, or you know what I'm saying, each individual's house or whatever, and those things where they welcome in things, you know what I'm saying, with via drugs or alcohol and all this type of stuff, you know what I'm saying, and all wicked type of spirits, you know what I'm saying, was what they allow into, you know what I'm saying, a certain place, which now forms it as a coven, right? So now this becomes like an altar. Now, we also know that bloodletting is a ritualistic practice. So the reason why I say that gangs and stuff like this is because, you know what I'm saying, for those of us who know about gangs for real, not those who don't know, but I guess you can listen to this part, is that, you know what I'm saying, it's blood in, blood out. You know what I'm saying? And so in order to be initiated, you know what I'm saying, you have to be able to go a few rounds or whatever, or you have to do some type of form of something, you know what I'm saying, in order to get you to be solidified, to get certified into being able to have a rank, you know what I'm saying, and be considered a member or an affiliation, you know what I'm saying about. And so, you know, it's many different things that is done, and I won't disclose everything. But aside from that, you know what I'm saying, it's blood in, blood out, right? So this shows that there is a blood bond. Demons use bonding of blood, you know what I'm saying, within rituals in order for them to be invoked, you know what I'm talking about, and for them to be able to have a stronghold and a connection to be bound to a person, right? So this is why in the physical realm, you know what I'm saying, a person can just look like whatever, but in the spiritual realm, they can be lugging around many different demonic, you know what I'm saying, entities unbeknownst. So then these things, if not fed properly, you know what I'm saying, then it ends up resulting into anger, you know what I'm saying, into lust, into, you know what I'm saying, a desire to be able to do violence, wrath, jealousy, envy, all these type of things, you know what I'm saying, depression, you know what I'm saying, high anxiety, and all these things as well, right? And so it's the need to be able to gratify and to be able to please, you know what I'm saying, something within themselves, but never being able to come to, you know what I'm saying, a fulfillment of being full. So it's like, okay, well, yeah, I got this, so therefore now, you know what I'm saying, greed comes into play. Well, I did this, so I need to do this even more, or I'm into this, so now I require more money, and I got to continuously chase. And so it's an endless wheel, an endless loop, you know what I'm saying, of trying to fulfill something, not knowing that, you know what I'm saying, it's really something of a demonic entity that people are trying to fulfill, that are constantly trying to feed. Because we already know that it says in Isaiah, you know what I'm saying, that there is no rest for the wicked. So this clearly states that, and shows and indicates that demonic entities continuously, you know what I'm saying, require something. There is no rest, so therefore they're never fulfilled. Okay? They don't get any rest. All right? So another thing is that music stages in clubs. Okay? Now, with clubs, it could be dance clubs. It can also be strip clubs. You know what I'm saying? It can be just many different clubs. One thing that people don't know is that the whole purpose of the club, right, was to create, okay, the whole purpose of a club was to create a separation and to help create, you know what I'm saying, altars unbeknownst, you know what I'm saying, for people to come into agreement with, for them to be able to operate and dabble within, you know what I'm saying, in giving legal access to entities, okay, and on certain days as well, okay. So first, on the weekends was the main thing. Now, for anybody who knows, you know what I'm saying, we know about the Sabbath. The Sabbath is from sundown to sundown, Friday to Saturday. Okay? So from sundown to sundown, Friday and Saturday, as these being the days of Sabbath, you know what I'm saying, or the time of Sabbath, then we know that Friday and Saturday is whenever the clubs be popping, you know what I'm saying? Whenever the clubs be popping, whenever the clubs be booming, or whenever the clubs be cracking, you know what I'm saying, it is in Friday to Saturday. Right? And this is the same thing, is because also you are giving your time, your attention, and your energy. So you are appeasing demonic entities, but you are also, you know what I'm saying, doing invocations. Now, what do they sell at these clubs that people are able to access? You know what I'm saying, is drinks. What are drinks considered? Drinks are considered spirits, okay? Alcohol is alcohol, you know what I'm saying, which is a spirit, right? So this is invocation, because once you are doing once you are under the influence, because spirits are influential, you know what I'm saying? Thus I spoke about this in Sorcery, Sins, and Secret, that video, you know what I'm saying, what influence is. This is why they have influencers and stuff like this, right? To operate in certain things. You're starting to see where it connects as far as with that video, with this. But under the influence. Now, whenever you are under the influence, you are now able to invoke something, because now you are coming into agreement, you know what I'm saying, with a coven, with many other people that are dancing to secular music, you know what I'm saying, and spells are being cast through the music. So there's something to sway onto your emotions to get you to come into agreement with, you know what I'm saying? And so now you're coming into agreement with it, and then you are also full of these spirits. So now you have other spirits that you are actually invoking, because dancing, what people do not know, is that whenever you are dancing, you know what I'm saying, to certain rhythms and stuff like this, you know what I'm saying, then you are invoking spirits, you know what I'm talking about. Thus why whenever you are in the church and you dance and you do praise and worship, you know what I'm saying, you are invoking the Holy Spirit. Now, whenever you are doing secular music and you are dancing and stuff like this, you know what I'm saying, then you are invoking demonic spirits, okay? And so, one thing that we know is that the spiritual realm operates how it operates. So invocation is possible, you know what I'm saying, and it's not something that's just made up. So there are many different practices whenever you look from those who summon the Zang Beidou that are on African tribes and stuff like that, the little thing that doesn't have anybody inside of it, you know what I'm saying, and they mess around and dance and everything like that, and the rhythmic drums, and then they dance around and stuff like that. They're doing an invocation, a summoning. So now that spirit comes into that little, you know what I'm saying, it looks like weeds and grass or whatever all together, but then it starts to arise and it starts to dance around by itself. So now, because they're chanting as well, you know what I'm saying, then it is giving it that much more power, because we know that the spirit holds energy, you know what I'm saying, and thus there's power within the tongue. So the breath of life it's the breath of life that we're speaking. So we're speaking life into something, you know what I'm saying, for it to come into existence, which is also a form of being able to agree, you know what I'm saying, upon something for it to come into existence. Now, we do the same thing whenever we go to these clubs and we dance within these clubs and stuff like that, because the music that's playing secularly, you know what I'm saying, certain songs about cheating, or, you know what I'm saying, if that female or if that man, or we don't need them and all this type of stuff, is operating into certain spirits, right? And so they're summoning these things in order for people to come into agreement with it. Just like there's things that, you know what I'm saying, to have people to want to do sexual acts or whatever, you know what I'm saying, if she got a man and he got a girl or whatever, you know what I'm saying, then we gonna cheat, and all these type of songs that people be, you know what I'm saying. And so you're coming into agreement. The reason that it's used as that is because once you're full with the spirits, then these spirits, you know what I'm saying, are able to encompass a body. And so now the body is coming into agreement. So now they are actually able to do whatever they choose to do, you know what I'm saying, with your body. Spirits can walk, they roam around freely, most definitely, here on this realm. People don't see them, but they require a body in order for them to be able to do the actions, you know what I'm saying, in the things of what they need to be done, you know what I'm saying. Thus, you can have a spirit of wrath and jealousy, a spirit of, you know what I'm saying, murderous spirit or envy and all this type of stuff. So then you're either going to cheat, you're going to murder somebody or whatever, and these things will end up leading into bloodletting, you know what I'm saying. So blood guilt is what is considered as well, right? And so those entities, once they have done that, then now they have helped open a portal to help invoke other things into, you know what I'm saying, people's lives and stuff like this, you know what I'm saying, into the realm as well, you know what I'm saying, for them to be able to further exist. There was a movie with Denzel Washington. I can't remember what the name of the movie was, but it was like they would whistle this certain tune or whatever, you know what I'm saying, and then that's how you knew that the spirit was present, the wicked spirit was present, you know what I'm talking about, and it would touch people, and so it would jump from people to people. Now, when we understand that spirits also carry energy, and we know that we're energy filled beings, then we know that, you know what I'm saying, this is the same way as we can be able to conduct, you know what I'm talking about, somebody's energy or whatever, or also spiritual, you know what I'm saying, baggage that they have, right? Now, we'll come into agreement fully with you know what I'm saying, sexual energy, sacred energy exchange, you know what I'm saying, through sexual actions. But also, whenever you welcome somebody, you are also welcoming spirits as well, because a person can be demonic, they can have spirits upon them, and whenever you saying, you know what I'm saying, welcome, or hi, how you doing, and all this type of stuff, you know what I'm saying, and allowing them access as you're shaking their hand, you are now basically inviting that entity, that spirit that is on them. This is why you don't shake hands with everybody. This is why you don't allow everybody to touch you. You know what I'm saying? Because some things you come into agreement with unbeknownst. Okay? Now, aside from that, one thing as well that I wanna show y'all, right, is that the body is an altar. But before we go there, I spoke on bloodletting. You know what I'm saying? One thing is this, because there's people that'll be like, well, if that's the case, then what do you call it? You know what I'm saying? Whenever people are talking about, they'll talk about Hamashiach, you know what I'm saying, Yahusha, Jesus, you know what I'm saying? They'll talk about how you have to plead things in his blood and all this type of stuff. Okay? So, let me tackle that. Now, for us to tackle that, and we'll go to, we'll go to Hebrews. Let's go to Hebrews 13. Let's go to Hebrews 13, and we'll tackle this. Let's get this out the way, right? So Hebrews 13. All right. So Hebrews 13. Now, before I read this verse, I want to say this, is that we know that there was a covenant that was given, you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying, to the Hamashiach, to the Mashiach, you know what I'm saying, through Christ, right, through the Messiah. So he is the living word of the Father, okay, made flesh, for it to be a covenant, for us to be able to have a way, to be able to, you know what I'm saying, be able to have redemption, all right. And I kind of went a little bit forward, but I'm going to go back, you know what I'm saying, after I speak about this. So, blood, demons, demonic entities require blood, you know what I'm saying, in a covenant, right? In an oath. In order to break that oath, there is blood that is required, you know what I'm saying? There's a sacrifice that is required. This is the purpose of the Hamashiach, is that all those things were washed away through his blood, because it was pure, you know what I'm saying, undefiled. Now, it's not anything of witchcraft, but the Most High was very strategic of how he did it. Was like, okay, well, I'll go ahead and, you know what I'm saying, present my word, you know what I'm talking about, which is me, you know what I'm saying, in the flesh, to be able to outdo those things that once had stronghold over my people, over my creation, right? And so, this is what we know from even whenever Adam and Eve, and it said that, you know what I'm saying, you'll try with the thorns, and you have to eat the thorns or thistles or whatever, you know what I'm saying. And this is another reason why whenever he was crucified, then he has the crown of thorns and thistles, you know what I'm saying. He had put it up top of his head in order for him to redeem that covenant. Okay, people don't know that all the way, and some people do, but also he was crucified on was it on Mount Gilgal or whatever, you know what I'm saying, which is where David ended up slaying Goliath. So, you know what I'm saying, which is the giant skull or whatever is what it was called, right? So then it shows that he stands over, you know what I'm saying, that demonic covenant. So therefore that was canceled out. Then we also know that he conquered death, the grave, and hell. Okay, so since he conquered these things, this is why we're able to have everlasting and eternal life. All right. So now, because he conquered these things and because it was his blood that had washed away these things, you know what I'm saying? This is why we plead the blood over demonic things that come into our lives, because the power of the blood is going to wash away all those things. This is why we decree and declare his word over our life, and we claim things in his mighty name, right? Because we have the power through the power and the authority who is given, you know what I'm saying, unto us through him, right? Because he presents himself basically as a covenant of a new altar. Let me teach you. Let me show you. So Hebrews 13 and 9. Oh, no, Hebrews 13 and 10, right? And it says that we have an altar whereof they have no right to eat, which serve the tabernacle. For the bodies of those beasts whose blood is brought into the sanctuary by the high priest for sin are burned without the camp. Wherefore Jesus, Yeshua, also, that he might sanctify the people with his own blood. You see that? Okay, let's keep going. Suffered without the gate. Let us go forth, therefore, unto him without the camp, bearing his reproach. For here have we no continuing city, but we seek one to come. By him, therefore, let us offer the sacrifice of praise to Yahweh, Eloheinu, God, continually. That is the fruit of our lips, giving thanks to his name. Right? So he presented himself through the blood, you know what I'm saying, as a sacrifice, you know what I'm saying, as the altar, right? Okay, so for those who are like, I still don't get it all the way, let me educate you. Let me go ahead and go back. I kind of went forward a little bit. So let me go back, right? Let's see. Let's go back. Let's go to we'll go to Genesis, right? But before we do that, I gotta put this precept with that one as well. Let me see here. Let's go to John really quick. Let me go to John. Okay, so let's go to John 4:23 really quickly. And it says, but the hour cometh, and now is, when the true worshipers shall worship the Father in spirit and in truth. For the Father seeketh such to worship him. Right? And so we see this is in spirit and truth is where we worship. So therefore, with worshiping him in spirit and truth means that this goes back into Hebrews, you know what I'm saying, 13:10 through 15, where it's signifying, you know what I'm saying, that there is no need of us to have to, you know what I'm saying, there's no need of us of having to use, you know what I'm saying, do blood, you know what I'm saying, rituals or burnt offerings or whatever, because Christ has become, you know what I'm saying, that which is the covenant, you know what I'm saying, which is an agreement, which is to give us the authority and the power, which is now an altar. Now, even in Romans 12:1, where it says, present ourselves, you know what I'm saying, as a living sacrifice. Okay? So, why would it say that? present yourselves as a living sacrifice. This would mean that there's a practice that has been done, you know what I'm saying, just as Christ has done. So now this is why I'm saying that we can become altars, that we are altars as well, right? So let me go ahead and, like I said, let me get back into this. Let's go into Genesis now. Let's go to Genesis. And I want to show y'all about the 4 altars. The first 4 altars, right? So first and foremost, we'll go to Genesis. Let's see here. We'll go to Genesis 12, 1 through 7. You know what I'm saying? So Genesis 12, 1 through 7. So Genesis 12, and we'll start. Well, I'm gonna read 1 through 7, so that way you get, you know what I'm saying, because it's supposed to be, I already kind of know, so let me not speed fast like I. All right, so now the Lord said unto Abram, get thee out of thy country and from thy kindred and from thy father's house unto a land that I shew thee. And I, what is that? Okay. And I will make of thee a great nation. I will bless thee and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing. And I will bless them that bless thee, and curse them that curse thee. And in thee shall all families of the earth be blessed. Right? So this is showing a covenant that's being made. Okay? He's making a covenant with Abraham. This is the second covenant, you know what I'm saying, because we know that the Adamic covenant, you know what I'm saying, was one of the first. The second one was the Abrahamic covenant. Okay? And then after that was the Mosaic, then the Davidic, you know what I'm saying? So these are all covenants, but this is one of the major covenants. This is the covenant that was made, but also Abrahamic covenant, but also the use of white altars, you know what I'm saying? So let me like I said, let me go. Let me work, right? Let me cook. Okay, so let me see here. Where was I at? Okay, so Abram departed, as I'm on 12 and 4 right now. Genesis 12 and 4, right? So Abram departed, and the Lord spoken unto him, and Lot went with him. And Abraham was 75 years old when he departed out of Haran, right? And Abram took Sarai, his wife, and Lot's brother, and Lot, his brother's son, and all of their substance that they had gathered, and the souls that they had gotten in Haran. And they went forth to go into the land of Canaan, and into that land of Canaan they came. And Abram passed through the land unto a place of Shechem, unto the plain of Moreh, and in Canaanite, and the Canaanite was in the land, and the Canaanite was in the land. My bad. Okay, so this is the first altar. The Lord appeared unto Abram and said, unto thy seed will I give this land. And he built an altar unto the Lord who appeared unto him. Right? So this first altar that he made was an altar of praise, giving thanks. We know what praise is, right? To give thanks and, you know what I'm saying, honor. To give, you know what I'm saying, glory, you know what I'm saying, kabod, right? Salakia. Hallelujah, you know what I'm saying, is praise towards, you know what I'm saying. That's why we say hallelujah, you know what I'm saying, is the highest praise, because it's giving praise to the Father, you know what I'm saying. Yeah, this is why they spell it Jah, you know what I'm saying, hallelujah with a J, you know what I'm saying, Jehovah and everything like this, right? But we know it's Yahweh, you know what I'm saying. So this is why it's hallelujah, it's high praise. So he's giving praise to Yah, you know what I'm saying, right here. That's the first altar. The first altar is the altar of praise, okay? And so now the second altar is the altar of prayer. And I'm going to show y'all. So 12 and 8, it says, and he removed from thence unto a mountain on the east of Bethel, and pitched his tent, having Bethel on the west and Hai on the east, and there he built an altar. That's altar number 2. Built an altar unto the Lord, and called upon the name of the Lord. Right? So whenever we call upon the name of him, this means that there's prayer that's going on, right? So he gave, the first one is praise, is that, let me see here. He built an altar unto the Lord, who appeared unto him, right? Which was giving praise, you know what I'm saying, for thanks for the land, right? That was in the first, that was in 12, 1 through 7. Now the second altar is 8, you know what I'm saying, where it says that he went to another mountain, which he went to the mountain of Bethel, you know what I'm saying, and pitched his tent, you know what I'm saying, having Bethel on the west and Hai on the east, and there he built an altar unto the Lord and called upon the name of the Lord, right? So he prayed. This is the altar of prayer. So praise, prayer. These are the first 2 altars, okay? Now, let me see here. Okay, keep going to 13. Wait a minute. Yeah. Okay, so in Abram journeyed going still towards the south, and there was famine in the land, and Abram went down into Egypt to sojourn there, for the famine was grievous in the land. And it came to pass, when he is come near to enter into Egypt, that he said unto Sarai his wife, Behold, I know that thou art a fair woman to look upon. Therefore it shall come to pass, when the Egyptians shall see thee, and say, This is his wife, they will kill me, but they will save thee alive. Say, I pray thee, thou art my sister, and it may be well with me for thy sake, and my soul live because of thee. Right? Okay? So we already know some people are like, well, why would he even say that it's a sister, whatever? It already explains it. But the thing about it is, because this is kind of going off subject, but this was one. Well, I won't go too far on that. We'll stick with the altars, okay? So look, let's go to this will be 13. We'll go to 13 and 18, right? And so 13 and 18, you know what I'm saying? But yeah. So 13 and 18. So Genesis 13, 18. It says, Then Abraham removed his tent and came and dwelt in the plain of Mamre, which is in Hebron, and built there an altar unto the Lord. Right? So what was this altar? I'm glad you asked. Let me break it down for you, right? So first and foremost, we'll say this. Let's go. I'm going to start I want to start at 7. I'm going to do 7 and 9 and then kind of, you know what I'm saying, kind of read a little bit, you know what I'm saying. So 7 and 9, it says, And there was strife between the herdsmen of Abram's cattle and the herdsmen of Lot's cattle, and Canaanite and the Perizzite dwelled then in the land. And Abram said unto Lot, Let there be no strife, I pray thee, between me and thee, and between my herdmen and thy herdmen, for we be brethren. Is it not whole land before thee? Separate thyself, I pray thee, from me. If thou wilt take the left land, I will go right. If thou depart to the right, then I will go left. And Lot lifted up his eye and beheld all the plain of Jordan, that it was well watered. It was well watered everywhere, before the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. Right, even as the garden out of let's see here, even as the garden of the Lord, like the land of Egypt, that has come to Zoar. Right. Then Lot chose him all the plain of Jordan, and Lot journeyed east and separated themselves from each other. Right. Okay. So now Abraham dwelled in the land of Canaan, and Lot dwelled in the cities of the plain, which pitched his tent toward Sodom. But men of Sodom were wicked and sinners before the Lord exceedingly. And the Lord said unto Abram, after that Lot was separated from him, lift up thine eyes and look from the place where thou art, northward and southward and eastward and westward, for all the land which thou seest thee I will give it, and to thy seed forever. I will make thy seed as the dust of the earth, so that if a man can number the dust of the earth, then shall thy seed be also numbered. So he's saying that his seed will be, wide. It'll be unnumbered. It's vast. Okay. So arise and walk thou in the land, in the length of it and the breadth of it. I will also give it unto thee. Right. So now we hit 18, where it says, and Abram moved his tent and came and dwelt in the plain of Mamre, which is Hebron, and built there an altar unto the Lord. Right. So this altar is the altar of peace. Is because we clearly see that there was clashing, between his herdmen and Lot's herdmen, the Canaanites and the Perizzites, right? The Perizzites, and then also, that there were wicked, wicked ones of Sodom or whatever, that were sinners before the Lord exceedingly. And so he gave him, that land in order for him to be able to establish peace on that land, right? So the second altar is peace. So again, the first altar is praise, the second is prayer, the third altar is peace. Okay, so these are the first, three. Now there's a fourth one, okay, and the fourth one is going into 22. Okay, so let's go to Genesis 22 really quickly. Now, and I'll give y'all this one because a lot of people already know this story. So in Genesis 22 is whenever, it's provision. Let's say that. So let me go ahead. Let me show you. The fourth altar is provision. So we will start from 22 and 9, and it says, they came to a place which Yah had told him, and Abraham built an altar there. So this is an altar, right? So Abraham built an altar there and laid the wood in order to bound Isaac his son, and laid him on the altar upon the wood. And Abraham stretched forth his hand and took the knife to slay his son. And the angel of the Lord called unto him out of heaven and said, Abraham, Abraham. He said, here I am. And he said, lay not thine hand upon the lad, neither do thou anything unto him. For now I know thou fearest Yahweh, thou fearest Jehovah, God, right? Seeing that thou hast not withheld thy son, thine only son, from me. So pay attention to that. That right there, right, is what I'm saying. So with him being able to present his son as a sacrifice, and the Most High was like, don't do it. I just wanted to see if I can trust you all the way, fully. I want to see what you would do. And here you are fulfilling what you have done, so therefore I'm fulfilling my covenant. So the covenant is solid on both parts. You did a hard thing, you know what I'm saying? And so because you have fulfilled what I required of you, I will now go further and fulfill what is required of me. So because you have given your son, your only son, I will use your lineage to help birth me a son, which will be my living word to come through your lineage, which will also solidify the covenant that I have given unto you. So therefore, my son will now become a new altar eventually, in order for people to be able to, you know what I'm saying, come to where they won't need to have an altar. You see how deep that is? That is how loving the Most High is. He is a covenant keeping Elohim, right? So look, and Abraham lifted his eyes up and looked, and behold, behind him a ram caught in a thicket by his thorns. And Abraham went and took the ram, right, and offered him up as a burnt offering instead of his son. And this is why this is is provision, an altar of provision, because right here, and Abraham called the name of the place Jehovah Jireh, as of that place Jehovah Jireh, as it is said, to this day in the mount of the Lord it shall be seen. So if anybody knows, you know what I'm saying, what Jehovah Jireh, you know what I'm saying, is the Elohim, which is, you know what I'm saying, God provides. Jehovah Jireh. Jireh means provider. Okay?